Now, I've been in real estate for over 10 years, and the best way I can put what gets me curious about a product is communication and commuting, because real estate's mostly sales. I am taking phone calls while I'm driving, at a coffee shop. I actually was just in the mountains recently and was still taking calls. I was in the lobby of the lodge that I was staying at taking a phone call because I wanted to. We're not talking about overworking to death or anything, but real estate is a very hustle and bustle kind of career, and you never know where you're going to be when you take a phone call. So the two best words that I feel like the product I'm going to review today fit are communication and commuting. So with the Jabra Evolve2 65 Flex headset, this is that type of headset where if you're a business professional or if you do a lot of communication, I feel like this is really finally hitting the nail on the head of being that headset that is the only headset you can use and it satisfies every need. Now, there's some things about this headset that don't excel, that don't really outcompete Bose or Sony in terms of the music quality or the active noise canceling, because those type of products cater to user experience with just sound quality. They're not focused on communications, because the biggest problem with Sony and Bose is the microphones still just, they're not going to cut out loud coffee shop noise. And that goes for AirPods Pro or any other brand that I've reviewed, or any other earbuds or headset or headphones that I've reviewed. That's why I love this product so much right off the bat. Now, Jabra did send this for a review, but my opinions are not going to change on the pros, of course, but also the cons. And starting out with the design of this headset. The design is very lightweight, very flexible, which is why they probably named it, and it has a solid build quality. It doesn't have any sturdy metal or steel besides maybe what's internal on the bands, but overall, with its plastic design, I feel like it's going to last for a while. And I've had it for about 2 weeks now, and there's not a scratch. I mean, there's nothing. It barely attracts fingerprints, which I love, because most headsets that are black, they don't have this matte finish that these do. So it doesn't attract fingerprints, it doesn't get dirty easy, and it comes in a nice carrying case. Of course, my favorite part about the headset with the design is not the controls. The controls are pretty basic and pretty manual. It's gotta be the fact that it has this boom arm that comes down. With the boom arm design of this coming down, I like that it's not too much in the way. As I put it on, I can show you exactly what I'm talking about just in real time instead of doing B-roll. Is when I have it on just like this, as you can see from my side profile, most headsets, when you put the microphone down, are going to be in the area of where you're breathing from, of how when you exhale through your nose, especially if you're on a phone call trying to be quiet, you're going to hear that come through. What I really love about this product, regardless if you have a little bit of a crooked nose like me or not, is you put the boom arm down and there's no way airways are going to interfere with the microphone. You just can't have it happen. It's so far back without interfering with the quality of the microphone that you're just not going to have that happen. Little things like that are what I appreciate about what Jabra did with the design of this headset. Even though I wanted to bring that up first because it was the thing that stood out the most, let's go ahead and get into our microphone test now. This is in a quiet office. It's raining outside, so the window's open just to make sure it's not too hot in here because it's later in the evening. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and play some noise, and this is going to be at 85 decibels. So what you're hearing now is So what you're hearing now is the ambient noise on the camera microphone, and then we're going to go ahead and switch it to the Jabra Evolve2 Flex 65 Flex. Oh, that is so loud, but I'm just being very dramatic. All right, now we're going to go ahead and pause that, and then I'll give my ears a break. Even with the headset on, that was insanely loud. So let's go ahead and do another double take just so you can really hear this. So I'm going to go ahead and play it now. That is what it sounds like on the camera microphone. And then let's go ahead and switch it to the Jabra Evolve2 65 Flex headset. And then I can go ahead and mute. It definitely muted, which is pretty dope, how you can just flip it up or you can just hit this button. And then now we're back. So After that extremely, I think that was like 90 decibels. Hopefully that gave you an idea of how the microphone sounds. And first we're gonna test using just the MacBook Pro microphones if you were gonna be on a Zoom call or a video call in a real coffee shop. So again, talking at a normal volume. So with testing out this headset, this is what it would sound like using Descript as the recorder. I think it's a little bit better than using Zoom for this. And so it's about, I'm right next to a speaker above me too, so about 75, 80 decibels. This is what it sounds like if you're using the Jabra headset for a phone call in a real coffee shop. I think it did pretty good. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this headset. But what about the active noise canceling when you want to have these headphones on and you just want to zone out with this headset? So the perspective I'm coming from and my experience is not being on a phone call, because when you're on a phone call, side tone is going to pick up the ambient noise no matter what you do. And the only way you can have the best experience on a call is turn it off, but it's still not all the way as effective as if you are just not on a phone call. The microphones are only doing one job instead of two. And when I'm at home and I have the window open, it's getting hot in where I live. It's actually hot in my room now because I have the windows closed for the video. But if I have the windows open, dogs are barking, and there's neighbors outside, and I'm doing laundry, the dryer's going, and I take a break to cook something. When I'm doing stuff like that, I can't hear any of it. You know, it does a fantastic job with those constants, those minor noises, and things are at a constant. Now, when I'm in a coffee shop, the two things that came through most were the milk pitcher steaming and just dishes clinging, things like that, or even conversations, people talking. I mean, you're still gonna hear it pretty decently. It's really interesting how voice is the only thing it didn't do best at, but overall I give the active noise canceling a B+ compared to other headphones that I've tried or headsets that are on ear. Now, in talking about the comfortability of this headset, so number one, I love the way it looks compared to pretty much any other headset I've wore. When I wear this, it's slim. It looks like just a normal pair of headphones or a headset until you pull this down. And even then, it's not like it's intrusive to how you look or anything if you're concerned about that. And some people in comments in other videos said, oh, who cares what you look like? But there is something about the design factor, something looking sleek and low profile. That's what I love about these. But in terms of the comfortability, when I'm wearing eyeglasses like I usually always do, about 2 hours is what it takes before I have to take my glasses off, or I just kind of set them like this. And really, I kind of even set them like this just above my ears so they're not getting squished because they're on-ear headphones. It's an on-ear headset. But even then, it's not that uncomfortable even when I wear glasses. Now, if I'm just not going to wear glasses or anything, or the longest duration that I've been able to sustain without getting discomfort is about 4+ hours, like almost 5 hours straight, and just really testing it. Now, typically in my workday, I take about a break every 2 hours because I work from home and whatnot, or go for a walk and whatnot. But that was the longest before my ears just got sweaty and I was like, okay, I'm feeling the fatigue. All right, now before I finish the review, I want to talk about connectivity and battery life. So with connectivity, it is Bluetooth 5.2. If your battery were to die, even though it has 32 hours of battery life, you can connect it with a USB-C cable to your computer and use it that way. Now, you lose pretty much all the features, and side tone wasn't even working. It's just going to work, is the best way I can put it. The noise canceling sounds the same, even when I tested it in a recording. It's just you're not going to get all the features that you can, even with the software on your computer. In my experience as of now, there could be a software update. And no, unfortunately, it's not going to be able to connect to your smartphone. Smartphones are just not optimized for that, from what I know and in my experience. But if you are talking about connectivity in terms of dual connectivity, you do have the USB-A dongle, and you can use that for your computer and connect to your smartphone. Connect to two smartphones, whether it's Android or iOS or both, you know, the same operating software, or even if it was two computers only via Bluetooth. Now, with the dual connectivity, one thing I experienced that I'll just point out right away that was a flaw, just to give you the bad news first, is whenever I'm connected to my computer, even if I'm on a phone call, with the dongle connected, if my phone rang, it always took precedence with my phone. And that's pretty irking because a lot of my business calls are on my computer. I believe this can get fixed with a software update, and I'm pretty sure Jabra will be watching this review. So Jabra, if you can fix that with a software update, I would get on that right away, because there was a few phone calls in my 2 weeks of testing this where a phone call came in through my phone and it totally ruined the connection. So it's kind of frustrating, because if they can get it to where the connectivity is as good with phone calls as it is with sound quality, where if I pause something on Apple Music on my phone and I play a YouTube video on my MacBook, it's instant. There's no delay or anything. It's just, I can even play back and forth over and over, like do, and it would just go back and forth, really seamless. What I have to say about the sound quality is with ambient aware mode, it sounds a little like side tone, but it's mainly focused on picking up your voice. So ANC, I talked about that, but with ambient aware mode, it's mainly for the hybrid worker. If you're gonna get interrupted or something, you can just toggle that on, or if you're curious about your environment, it seems to focus on voices more than anything else. Everything else sounds artificial. In a good way, it's just more muted than picking up somebody's voice. Music quality, I give it a B+, only because the lows aren't the best. It's not the best bass I've heard in anything, but I'm coming from the perspective of Bose and Sony. So if I'm coming from that perspective, I think that's still a good rating for it being on-ear headphones with millimeter drivers this size compared to what else is out there, and that it's on-ear, and the fact that I wasn't disappointed with whatever I listened to. Everything gets loud, everything is punchy, the mids and the lows come through very strong, where you can hear instrument separation in certain music or bands. And if I'm gonna give some of my genres or people I listened to recently with this headset, I was listening to Tool, Meek Mill, Eminem, Big Sean, Andrew Bird, and Shaky Graves. Groups like that, Jason Mraz even. And so with those, I had a good enough variety to where I can say these are dang good and at least a B+ in sound quality. The controls don't excite me too much. I mean, the only thing that's really exciting is the fact that you can flip to mute and this design in general, but everything else is pretty much the same. You can mute a call, access your voice assistant on your phone, play, pause, skip forward, skip back. I mean, you pretty much get the idea. You have the Microsoft Teams button here to access that rapidly, and then your ANC off and ambient aware toggle. But overall, if you're considering getting this headset with the charging pad, regardless of the variation you get, is $389 retail. And most of it's being sold out at $329 without the charging pad. Do I think this headset is worth it? If you care about communication first, this is the best headset I've used from Jabra, and that's saying a lot because of everything else they come out with. In terms of what I do, I'm a hybrid worker. This is a hybrid worker headset. If you're more stationary, I would say the Jabra Engage 55 or something like that, where it's a deck headset that's wireless or even a wired headset, is going to be the best thing for you if you're in a very loud environment, or if you go to coffee shops only a lot and you just want the best microphone noise cancellation, period. Something like that's going to be a lot better. This is for people who want to use this headset for everything, even working out, or going for walks, or like I said, going to coffee shops. And I even used this while driving, and that was just a test. So, I mean, for me, that's the best way I can put it. It's worth the money if you're just looking for the one that can do it all, if you're very active and very mobile in your lifestyle. Hopefully that answers your question. But for me, I gotta say thank you, Jabra, again for sending this out for a review, and I hope you guys are doing well. I'll see you on the next one.